of it's social media and the league in which that we're dealing with right now. 2023 is different than the league that you and I grew up with because you're in your early to mid 40s. I'm sure you're right in that same range. So you remember the 80s basketball and certainly the 90s. And, there was a different ethos there where, for example, a guy like, Bill Laimbeer or, Charles Oakley, for example, you wouldn't talk any junk to a guy like Charles Oakley because there would be a certain amount of retribution that may come your way. And with that in mind, let's go to the phones right now. He joins us right now.
One of my all-time faves.
One of my all-time favorites, Charles Oakley, a guy who would rebound from the locker room all the way back to the locker room. Charles, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today.
I'm doing good. Since I'm everybody's all-time favorite, I feel like I should be in the Hall of Fame. No.
Honestly, Charles, if I had a Hall of Fame and my partner John Dickinson had a Hall of Fame, you absolutely would be in there in terms of guys who did it the right way. You went out there, you didn't load manage, you didn't take possessions off, you did what you did for 48 minutes, you went in the locker room, you iced up, and you went home.
And you had a killer 18-foot jumper.
I didn't ice up too much. I wasn't hurt.
Let's just ask you off the top about this Draymond Green incident and the suspension. He, quote unquote, stomped on Domas Sabonis, and now he's got to sit out Game 3. Charles, what's happened to our NBA?
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on, and the commission got to get control of it. Not just because of what happened to Draymond, a lot of other incidents. When you be real lenient with people, kids and stuff, more stuff happens. So, unfortunately, what happened to Draymond, I had an incident back in New York, 2017, in the Garden. I try to protect myself. I think Draymond was trying to protect himself. And he's in battle. You don't know what's going on. I feel sorry for the Warriors who missing a guy who anchors their team in a lot of ways. Offense, defense, energy, attitude. So, I guess when he come back from the suspension, he got to be careful. So I think, I hope Golden State can pull it out. You don't want no one to be missing and then team lose or a guy who really can help the team win.
Charles, when you look at the incident and take the fan component out of it, but just the actual, with Draymond and Sabonis getting tangled up, and you've got Sabonis grabbing at his ankle, Draymond's trying to get away. Just what was your sense of everything that happened in that particular scenario? And okay, Draymond gets thrown out for stepping on his chest, but it should that have been the end of it, I guess, even when you factor in some of the other incidents that maybe Draymond has been involved with in the past?
Yeah, in life, I guess when you have things on your record and they can keep bringing them up when something happens, that's not good for Draymond as a player. But, you always got to protect yourself. And I think if you go back to boxing, instead happened with Floyd Mayweather and, the guy try to, give him fired or whatever. And Floyd Mayweather as a boxer, I guess when the ref don't break up a fight, you don't, put your hand guards down. But, I don't know. It's just it's a tricky situation for Draymond. But Draymond got to realize he means a lot to his team. And, you just got to hope that you can play and without getting into incidents like that. Things going to happen, of course, a basketball game. I've been hit in the face, this and that. But sometimes you got to take the hit, and then if you do it twice, then you got to protect yourself more and more.
Yeah, and I think part of that in this series from the Warriors side of it is they feel like, and I know you've been in a lot of playoff series and you've laid it on people and people have laid it on you and you've gone nose to nose, but I think the Warriors would probably tell you they think Sabonis in particular has been getting away with a little bit of stuff after the play and pulling some guys down and some sneaky stuff, which is part of the game, of course. How do you handle that when you feel like, and I'm sure you've been there, where your guy you're going up against is getting the better of you or your team, and the officials aren't maybe catching it?
Well, you got three officials, number one, and I think the official job is hard. You got players hollering at you after every play. It's a foul. And then, when stuff like this happen and you get caught in the act, I think Draymond got called an act. I mean, being a ball player, watching it, I mean, guys, and got tangled up and grabbed one another trying to get down court, but it's just a bad thing for the Warriors, for him to get suspended, and Draymond got to keep his cool. I think it's more after the incident with the fans because he getting the fan all riled up, on the road. That's not good because something else could have happened. But like I say, it's a bad time to get suspended, and you come home from down 0-2, and you need a win. So now you put more pressure on your team. The stars got to step up. The first two games was a battle, and like I said, 2 or 3 possessions in all the games, and now your best defender go out, your lead on your offense, stuff who get Steph, Clay, and get the guy on the team open. And so Draymond got to suck it up and realize that, help the team go out and get the win and come back for Game 4 and just show, hey, no matter what happened, we still together as a team. We can still fight through stuff and make stuff happen.
Former Knick, former Bull, Charles Oakley joining us here on 95.7 The Game. Charles, were you ever ejected from a game on the heels of a tough foul? I'm looking at YouTube right now, and they have a video called 30 Minutes of Charles Oakley Heated Moments, and I'm watching you, and a lot of these I remember. Good old-fashioned physical basketball. Where does physical basketball gone, and did you ever get ejected for a, quote, flagrant foul?
I probably did get ejected in the game because a lot of guys come to the rim, and I had to protect my rim on defense, and I go up the challenge shot, and I have got a lot of flagrant fouls. I got an incident with guys on the court. It's going to happen, and I don't think I never got into a real big incident during the playoffs, and I think that because, in the playoffs, you know how much you mean to your team. But in the other cases, you got to protect yourself. Draymond probably felt like, hey, this guy just grabbed my leg and I'm falling down and, trying to catch his balance and, made a mistake and stepped on his chest.
Charles, what do you think of just the difference between regular season basketball and playoff basketball? Because I think you could make the case in the regular season, the game has become real soft and it's who can get to 130 first. And then it's almost like a different sport in the playoffs. And for me, it's almost as if people are appalled at the physicality of guys like Sabonis and Draymond going at it. But I think that tone gets set by the league almost wanting it to be a certain way all year long. And then in the playoffs, trying to change the game up to a significant manner. And then you find yourself where, when things don't fit the way it looks 6 months out of the year, you gotta start holding people extra accountable for it.
Well, my thing with playoff, I think that it's more about possessions and playing a court that can make you give you a chance at all time on the court. That's why most teams go from a 10-man rotation down to an 8, trying to find the best 8 and produce on the court. Yeah, I mean, I know back in our days it got real physical because everything was more half court. I think it's not too much half court now. There's a lot of running gun, a lot of pick and roll, high pick and roll. But you still can get tangled up and stuff still can happen. But I think, like I say, I don't know what the NBA, for the official-wise, how they want it to be called. But when you good, you're going to get the benefit of the call. When you win championship, I watch Lakers, Bulls, Miami, even the Golden State Warriors, they get away with more. Sometimes they can catch up to you and be bad because I think that they let you grab more, when you got a winning team. I watch over the years, and I'd be like, wow. When we watch a lot of tape. When you play a team, you see, like, they don't call certain things on certain teams. So Draymond's on the side checking a 7-footer, so he's going to be doing a lot of pushing and rooting under the basket. And you're going to get tangled up when give up 4 or 5 inches on a big guy.
Charles, appreciate you joining us. Career double-double in the playoffs, 10.8 and 10 rebounds. JD and I were talking about it before the show. We both admired the way you played the game. And, man, if you played in today's game, how many flagrants would you get, I wonder? I
mean, I don't think I would get challenged because, like I say, if someone in there they know that ain't going. Well, look at Ja. You know, he's a smaller guy. He's going to the hole. When you small like that and frail, you can't keep going in and trying to dunk on 7-footers. Sooner or later, you know, like somebody gonna step up and you're going to take the hit. When you take that fall, being a smaller guy, you know, AI lasts a long time. You know, he was a real. You know, he played football in high school, and he might have been a little stronger than some guys at that position driving to the basket a lot. But Ja go to the basket a lot, and he making highlights, they dancing, and so sooner or later a big man gonna step up and I don't want you to dunk on me, so I'm not gonna let you just get a bucket going to the hole, and you're gonna have to take a hit. So you can't be disrespecting these bigger guys, and you're a little guy, and when you make a bucket, you dance and showing them out. And like pitching in baseball, you throw one inside, you keep throwing them inside. The guy at the back, with the back, gonna try to let you know that I'm not gonna take too many inside pitches. So they just gotta be careful on the court and realize that the NBA is watching. Draymond know they watching him because he's been in 4 or 5 different incidents. So your record's gonna travel with you, no matter what. Especially in sports, they got rules and regulation. And like I say, some guys, this is their first incident, we give them a break. I don't believe in that because, like I said, it costed me some money when I played because, they said, well, I'm big and tough, rough, and, when guys come to the basket, force against force, I mean, if I'm stronger than you, I'm automatically going to win the battle, but you're going to fall in a way that they say, well, there's a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, and that's not good sometimes.
Charles, thank you so much for joining us. And, man, we appreciate what you brought to the court. We appreciate what you brought to the air today. And enjoy the rest of the NBA playoffs.
Yes, I'm definitely going to watch tomorrow. I don't watch all the games, but tomorrow is a must-watch game. And I think the Lakers game tonight. So I'm going to see what happens. With Golden State, got to put someone else in the lineup. And I think that they might start Payton. Payton's been playing great for them for the last couple of years because he understands defense. He know how to get in the guys. So I think the Warriors are going to play strong. And like I said, they got shooters. They got a great coach in Steve Kerr. And they know how to operate. So they home. They play great at home.
Appreciate it, Charles. Charles Oakley played until he's 40, averaged a double-double in his time in the playoffs. One of the true great big men in the history of the association.